Hello, everyone. It is Dawn Kennedy one more time. Module 6, the last module of Get Your Financial Shit Together for Entrepreneurs. I'm so excited to give this module information to you today because this is all about producing income. This is about doing some strategic planning. This is about figuring out how you're going to make your money, where you're going to make your money, how much money you want to make, and you're going to start from the outcome. So this was a different way of thinking about it for myself. About 2 years ago, I had always had to start from that place of I'm a personal financial coach, and this is how much income there is, and we have to figure out where it goes. Business isn't like that. That's wonderful. Business is you can make as much money, one week and then double it the next week and maybe make more the next week, or you have it going up and down. So basically what we need to do is we need to find a way to produce enough income to stabilize your B number. Anything and everything above that B number, of course, is going to be very helpful to you to be able to grow and hit your other goals. But getting to your B number is the number one most important thing because it covers everything, including payroll. I have a recent client that just started with me actually, who is not making very much profit, in fact, less than 1%. So I'm going to go in and help her figure out how to produce more income in certain lines of business so that she has a profit margin, because every single month she makes her B number. She's got some cash flow things, like a lot of business owners do, but primarily, she's not maximizing the income in the different lines of business. So I want to introduce this to you today. I want to give you some tools, and I really hope that you enjoy this information. I get a lot of feedback typically when I teach this particular part. So please feel free to hit me up at assist@entremoneycoach.com with any of your feedback, with any of your questions, because producing income, making it is one of my favorite things to do. All right, strive to be a success, but rather to be a value. This is the key right here. We're not out here to try to make ourselves better. We get paid because what we do is valuable to other people, that we are changing lives, that we are impacting people. And this is where we need to start from, that when you do things that are valuable, you will get paid. All right, so we're going to learn the basics of project planning, which is very important for going ahead and managing that income line. We're going to take the steps to learn how to back into profit. We're going to identify the low-hanging fruit so you can find some immediate sales. And we're going to see if we have another pivot coming up in the future. Now, the word pivot for some people is very scary because it sounds like, oh, I have to scrap my business plan. No, actually, I am a mini pivot kind of girl. I'm always looking for that next opportunity where I can expand into, where I can grow, where I can impact other people, and in return get paid. So this is the last of the money management mechanics. I consider producing income to be a money management mechanic, because if you're not producing and keeping that engine full, then the other pieces don't matter. But before we dive in too much for that, I want to know, how are you feeling right now? You've completed the last 5 modules, the first 5 modules of this course. And for some people, I get feedback that they're a little shell-shocked, For some people, they say, wow, this is just so easy now. For some people, they're still trying to figure out, well, I don't know which tracking system I like yet, or I've never looked at it that way before. And, take some time to let that all sink in. But tell me, how are you feeling? And how close are you feeling to the way you wanted to feel back in Module 1 when we asked you, how do you want to feel when you do your money management every month? So talk a little bit about your feelings. Put them down on paper there. Give yourself, some attaboys and girls too, because you actually made it this far. All right, we're going to produce more income. So to make more income, you have to have smart strategies. You have to have identified projects, and you should be on the lookout for pivots. So having a strategy and a plan to make more income is part of income management. I believe that in my whole heart because it primes the pump and it fuels the engine. The steps in this module will help you plan your next income producing steps. So when you walk away today, you should have a list or at least something in your mind that says, oh, I'm going to go do that today to go try to make money. All right, so the number one thing is we never have to stop strategizing. The more money that you make, the bigger the impact that you make, because you start to hire people, you reach more people with your message, you are taking what you do so well, your zone of genius, and you are impacting more lives. And because of that, we always have to pay attention to this step. It's so easy sometimes to make a certain amount and say, yeah, that's what I make every month. But are you growing in your impact? Are you growing in your community? How are you able to do just a little bit more so that your business itself is reaching its maximum potential? Business also is fluid and dynamic, and you have to be open to looking for changing an opportunity. I have Don't Be Kodak, because Kodak actually had the opportunity to buy some of the digital technology, photo technology, way back. I think it was in the 70s or the 80s. My dad used to work as I guess, a publishing editor of one of the large photo journals. And he said, they had the option to buy, Dawn, and, here they are 30 years later, and you're like, who's Kodak, right? You can always evolve while keeping a core focus on your favorite product or on one product. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But the first thing we're going to do is figure out how to define our profit goals. This has a couple of steps, and this here is important because if you aim at nothing, you hit it every time. I know a lot of entrepreneurs are uncomfortable at picking some big income goal. They're going to be happy with whatever rolls in the door. But that stifles, in my opinion, some creativity, and it makes it so that, you're not really reaching and trying to do the next thing. So I want you to do a couple of things here. I want you to define some profit goals. I want you to make a list. What, would you want to make money for? What are we going to put some money aside for? And then describe the why out of that. And if you want to pause this while you do that, I want you to have a bunch of things. I want you to write down all the things you'd like to do when you make money in your business. And then the next thing you're going to do is prioritize them, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to talk about backing into profit and how we're going to get there. And we're going to talk about how many sales, what you need to sell, how many, what month, project planning, just all of the little intricacies of that. And I'm going to keep it very simple for you. So you don't have to lose your mind going, oh, gosh, I don't like strategic planning. I don't like this kind of stuff. I'm very happy with what's rolling in. Yeah, but let's stretch it a little bit because everybody wants to make just a little bit more. And then also, do you have dates in mind when you want to hit this goal? A lot of times as entrepreneurs, as the stuff's rolling in, we're okay with however fast or slow it's going. I want you to get a little bit of an ignition under you that says, I want to do this in 6 months. I want to do this in 8 months. And I want you to have something that you're aiming for. If you don't hit your goal, but you make a lot of great progress towards it, you're still moving forward much more than you would be if you didn't have a goal to work towards. So we need to define those goals. And then the other thing is I want you to identify right from the start, where are you going to park that goal money that comes in? I want you to have it in your mind. I'm going to sign up for a new monthly service. My office is going to now use X. I'm going to open a separate account. I'm going to have separate check register. How do you keep these funds standing out? I'm going to highlight them in yellow every month as that account value goes up. I'm going to highlight for the first 6 months this new system that I put in place, and I'm going to have a visual reminder that I'm doing it, that I am celebrating all things entrepreneur. So backing into goals. So if you don't have an income goal, there's no reason to back into one. I want you to think about, you have a place that you want to make money, and then we're just going to figure out, well, how do we make money? We're going to backtrack in to what it's going to take. So let's say you put a goal out a month from now and you say, I want to make $5,000. We have to backward plan or back into that goal. I want you to have a reasonable goal also. I don't want you to tell me, well, I made $400 last month, but I want to make $1 million next month. That's not going to be helpful to your business. In fact, it's going to, kind of discourage you a little bit, and it's probably going to feel like a whimsical goal, so you won't take it seriously. So the thing we're going to do also is I want you to write out your offers. What are the packages, products, services, and prices of things that you offer today? And then we're going to figure out, how many of each of these do we need to sell? Or if it's only one, how many do we need to sell? Or do we need to add another service? Do we need to have something that we can drive people to? So for example, if you want to make $4,000 a month and your packages are $500, $250, or you have a $50 product, you would need 8 clients a month at the $500 package to hit $4,000. Simple mathematics, not going crazy here with the math. You would need 20 clients at $200. So you would need to find 20 people on the universe to give you $200. You would need to find 8 clients to give you $500. Either way, you're making your goal. You would need 80 sales. So you need to find 80 people to give you $20 to reach $4,000. And then any combination of the above. So you can tell yourself, well, I know I can probably get one client at 500. I can get 10 clients at 200. So you can do that math. And we can do that based on past performance and then also just on future goals. But in order to do that, we need to have some project planning. Projects are a definite beginning and an end. So whatever you're working towards in your goal, whether it's to save for a new service, whether it's going to be to, add on a new business line, whatever it is, you have to have a beginning and an end. You have to say, this is step one, and when I'm done with this project, it's going to look like this. Projects aren't supposed to go on forever and ever and ever and ever, and they do have a definite beginning and an end, so the steps in the middle are the steps you have to take. So we don't keep going with a project forever and ever. Sometimes we have to adjust your schedule. Sometimes we have to adjust because we underbid something and we have a performance, or a pricing issue or cost issue. But generally speaking, go to that front, get your desires, rack and stack the top three. Let's figure out what we need to do to get there. And then let's figure out how to make those sales. What are the steps that we need to do? And it could be steps like I need to post every day on social media. I need to find somebody to help me build a sales funnel. I need to start doing a newsletter every 3 weeks. I need to send samples through the mail. I need to send an email to my list. Whatever it is, I need to order more raw materials. I need to make sure that, my widget, is ready to be shipped. I need to make sure whatever it is, you have steps in there, steps from one, and I call it N, but the end, that you need to do. And you just want to track those along the lines. You can do it with a checklist. It doesn't have to be fancy timeline stuff. We don't have to use, project management software. You can have a list. And as you check off that list, you see you're moving through your project. I want you to have a budget of how you're going to get there. Now, your budget may be zero. If it's a matter of I need to send emails to my list and I need to post on social media every day, your budget may be zero. But you may have to have a marketing budget to reach more people to sell more product. You might need to go ahead and increase your capacity to take sales. Maybe you need to change your payment processing or something like that. So I just want you to go ahead and understand that this is not supposed to be something that really sets you back or kills you or takes up all your time. This is literally just a way that we're keeping ourselves honest in how we're moving towards the goals that we want to move. So I am not a SMART goal girl, measurable and everything else, give it a timeline. I find that too rigid for me. I'm a project planner by nature. I've been project planning. I did it for the Army for 10 years. So for me, I like the flexibility and the fluidity of moving through the gates of a project. And projects, they can be as structured or as unstructured as you want, in that you're just tracking. You're just looking to see, did I send my emails this week? Yes, check mark. You did it. You're moving through the project. All right. The thing that I have on here about is every step, or is each step being done properly? So sometimes there is a time element that needs to be invested in order to do something maybe a step higher than you're doing now. Like, let's say instead of just sending an email, you want to send a newsletter. That newsletter needs to be, of course, part of your brand, right? We need to make that look pretty sharp. So we want to make sure that if we're going to step up into it, that we're putting that time investment in there. And for a lot of people, project planning and moving through these projects is just a matter of investing maybe an extra 30 minutes or an hour. All right. It may take a few tries to get it right in the beginning, and that's okay. But if you rack and stack the steps that you need to take, you can figure out where you need to find resources to help you. You can realize sometimes steps that you may have overlooked, and you get an idea and you go, oh, I should be doing that as well. And you put it on your list, and you can put it in your calendar, and you could backward plan into your calendar. You put the goal date that you want to get it done, and then you put backward planning. You put a week out, I need to do this. 2 weeks out, I need to do that. 10 days out, I need to do this. And that's going to help keep you honest. In the beginning, project planning may feel a little clunky, and it may be one of those things where, you have to take an hour or two. I would suggest that you set aside a little time until this becomes kind of an easier habit for you. Make it very, very easy to do, where you're going to just clear everything out from around you. You're going to sit down, you're going to have your cup of coffee or your glass of wine, and you're going to make a list of all the things you need to do. And you can do this. I usually now can pull out a project plan in under an hour. And that could be for very complicated things. Now, again, I've been doing this for a long time. So in the beginning, it probably takes 2 to 3, and that's okay. But if you make this an important part of your income generating cycle, you will make sure that all of the steps are being taken and you're moving the engine forward so that you can fill your pipeline and hit your beat number. So one of the reasons that I like project planning is because I want you to have a roadmap for what you're doing and how you're moving forward. And that goes back to your income goals. Start with your goals. Where do I want to end up? And then we're going to backward plan from that. We can use project planning just on a piece of paper, checklists, dates on a calendar. And, you know, I want you to do this also because you make sure nothing falls through the cracks. So if you invest the time up front, then you're going to absolutely make sure that you are not missing critical steps that can kind of blow the success, I guess, first time out of what you're trying to do. So the backward planning, this is just kind of a follow-on. You would pick a date again. We're going to go back and make that list. You can do a checklist, or some people like using software. I use Asana now for large projects. Generally, though, I'm a piece of paper and a pen kind of girl still. You would calendar your tasks working backward, as we just talked about. And we just create this plan. It could be a checklist with dates next to it when things have to get done, and a budget. And that budget, again, you know, you might have to get some quotes for people. Hey, I need someone to update my website. I don't know what that's going to cost me. So you would do that background work and get that done. So this is what I love as far as finding low-hanging fruit. So I want you to sit back for a minute. I want you to listen to this the first time. And whatever comes to mind, I want you to write it down. And then you can go back and listen to it again, and maybe more things will come up with, okay? So to discover low-hanging fruit, to hit your goal this month, you need to sell what? At what price? What do you need to sell this month at what price? Or 90 days, whatever your goal range is, okay? I need how many clients for your what product or service at what price? So you may sell some units, you may need to add new clients, or you may need to add services to your clients. You may not need to go out and find new clients. You may be able to do something called an upsell to your clients, meaning that you add on a service and you offer it to them, and a certain percentage of your clients would buy it. The next one, I need to prioritize on my offering, because again, when we start to have 5, 6, 8, 10 offerings, confusion confuses the buyer, and the buyers who are confused don't buy. So prioritize. What is going to be the thing you're going to offer this month? So important to make sure you pick the one thing, or maybe one thing and a downsell and an upsell. You know, where are you going to prioritize your time? What message are you going to focus on? So I have this thing on message here because a lot of times you can focus on your message based on the calendar. So this month it's going to be, by the time I'm recording this, Valentine's Day is coming up. And with Valentine's Day coming up, there may be some messages that you can talk through that would be a great, you know, sales tool for the next 2 weeks or whatever. I need to partner with. Now, when people see the word partner, they think, oh, I need to find somebody who's doing the same thing as me, or I need to find somebody who's going to provide services with me. And that's actually not true. I actually want you to look for people who are serving your clients like you in a different way. So are you serving the same clients as someone else? Who can I talk to that becomes a referral partner? Who can I talk to that is offering something and I want to piggyback on that? Who can I talk to that will be someone in the same niche in the marketplace that I'm in? Who can I partner with to help me reach my ideal clients? Who are the people that are serving my clients? So for example, I worked with a nutrition coach, and that nutrition coach had a passion for new moms who had just had their babies, maybe still, you know, nursing, and they hated their bodies. They didn't like the way they looked anymore because they just had a baby, and that's very common, believe it or not. So who did she partner with? Well, she partnered with lactation coaches. She partnered with a mom's stroller running group. And she started offering additional services and got in, and, you know, when it was appropriate, she was able to find customers and clients for herself based on working within groups that also served her ideal clients in a different way. Okay, I need to apply for. So, you know, there could be grants out there waiting for you. There could be, like right now in my town, there's a business plan contest going on. Keep your eyes open. What can you apply for? Let's say that you want to make more money and you could be an Amazon affiliate partner. Or you could, let's say you're a retailer and you apply to carry someone else's clothing line, and you apply to be a vendor for somebody. What can you apply for this month? Where should you be looking? It's like, oh, you know what? I never thought about being an affiliate. Oh, I need to go apply for that grant from my town or that business plan award or something. And, you know, do you need to apply for some awards? Do you need to step out and say, you know, I do want that chamber award. I should put myself in for that. Because here's the thing, you can apply for these things, and that also helps sharpen your message and sharpen your focus. So what do you need to apply for this month? If you need help finding lists of things or places, you know, please reach out to me, assist@entremoneycoach.com, and, you know, I can help you look around your zip code there and see what might be available for you. Do you need to apply for membership somewhere, like to the Chamber of Commerce? What do you need to apply for this month that is going to help you with networking, or it's going to help you with social proof to your company? It's an excellent thing to think about, and it's one thing that a lot of business people don't think about, is that you can apply for things. You don't always necessarily have to put money out. All right, who do you need to speak to? Who's the person that you're afraid to talk to about your product or service? Who is the person that you haven't talked about who's been on your mind? Somebody dropped into you, you know, maybe you should go talk to so-and-so, but oof, you haven't talked to them. Who do you need to go speak to? Give me a list. Give me a list of 2 to 5 people who you just need to go speak to within the next 10 days. All right. And then the last thing I need to revisit. So many times we get ideas as entrepreneurs, and maybe the timing is not right. Maybe we had an agreement with somebody, but it wasn't the right time to put that in force. Maybe there's, you know, something out there. I have a list, you know, a short list of things that I like to revisit once in a while to see if it's maybe time to do something. What do you have? You have a list somewhere of something. Maybe you thought about doing some launch. Maybe you thought about partnering with someone. Maybe you thought about becoming an affiliate. Whatever it was, what do you need to revisit this month to see if it's the right time to bring something to the marketplace where, again, you're adding value and people will pay you for it because you're bringing so much value into the market? Okay, so the last portion of this, where we're doing planning, we're digging in, and we're thinking about where am I going to find my next bunch of sales, I also want to talk to you about a pivot. And this is, again, another exercise that I want you to take on your own, where you're going to be able to think, just sit down and think, and, you know, try to figure out if maybe with these prompts that I've given you, there's somewhere where you can make a slight change, or you add, or you expand, or you look at a new market, or you change your processes, somewhere where you can make a slight pivot and it's going to help you reach your goals. Now, pivot typically in startups means to scrap everything and turn, you know, right or left. I don't ascribe to that. I think that your pivot could also be on a swivel, and you're carefully making sure that you're capturing every opportunity, every chance you get, because you're open to it. Now, CEO hours are, you know, the hours that I think everyone should mark out for themselves, maybe an hour or 2 a week, to do these kinds of exercises, to sit and just think, to be the CEO, to be the visionary, to think about what you're going to bring to market. I think doing this, you know, I usually do this, believe it or not, on either Saturday or Sunday afternoon if I've had a really busy week. If not, I do it on Friday, and I capture what I did, you know, this past week and how wonderful it was. I do gratitude exercises, but then I also talk about What did I see? What were the opportunities that were there out in front of me that I need to at least capture on paper? Maybe it's not time to do anything with them yet, but I am seeing this. I'm going to seize these opportunities. So I have a formula that I developed called ADFP. Not a real sexy name. If I knew that I was going to be teaching this, I probably would have found something else to call it. But the fact is that it's just reminds you of the 4 major areas that we're going to examine. Your audience, the customer that you identify and sell your product to. Your delivery, the manner in which your product or service gets delivered. Now, the easiest way to demonstrate this is if you are, let's say, a brick and mortar boutique and you go online. The other way might be you do live webinars and now you're going to do teleseminars. Maybe instead of doing webinars, you're going to put out, a book. How are you getting your product or service out there to your people? Okay. What is your focus? Do you have a product or service, and are you realizing or seeing that other people are interested? Or maybe is there something about the niche that you're in, your industry, that's changing? Or people are having some sort of expectation, or they're asking you for something different. There are times sometimes where people will say, do you have XYZ? And we say, no, we don't carry that. Well, why not? People start to ask you for it, and you start to see multiple people asking. That may be a great indication that we need to look about adding some focus into our business. Another example for that is I worked with someone who has a lash salon, and she does lash extensions, and she started doing eyebrow tint because people were asking, and she started doing everything from your nose to your hairline. That became her zone that she would work on beautifying, whether it was, I think she even went to microblading, right? So she's doing eyebrows now and not just eyelashes, and she'd put packages together. So that changed a little bit of her focus. It changed the audience because she was able to pull in different people looking for that service. It changed her delivery because she had, packages available, and she was able to add some things into her salon for the ambiance. And then, her process, and just anybody's process, how you serve your customer from start to finish through the sale. So can you take your appointment making online? Can you make it easier to do business with you? Can you go ahead and take out what they call sales friction? Can you take a debit card online, or are you still accepting checks? Do you want to accept checks? I'll be honest, in my little hometown here, I still accept checks because people in business do business that way. Not everything here is still electronic. In fact, after 12 years of living in Georgia, when we moved here, my husband and I had to order a checkbook for the first time because the water department didn't take our debit card. Which was a very interesting thing to figure out. We had to go get money orders until our checks arrived. It was very different. But yeah, so what are the processes that you're using? Is there a way to change your process, even tweak it slightly? There's a bunch of questions in the workbook. There's pages of questions. I want you to take a little time and examine these things and be open-minded to looking for these things as you're going. During the day, are you seeing something about audience, delivery, focus, or process that you should capture down and write somewhere? Again, put on your list the next time you do CEO time, to go ahead and examine this. Maybe there's really something there. Again, we're looking for income generating things. We're looking for those opportunities. Now, here's the other thing. If you need help with your project plans, capital analysis, right? So in other words, if your profit margin is not great and you need some help understanding your growth strategies, if you need some analysis because you're having problems, maintaining, your emergency fund or whatever else have you, that'll get results in your new unique business, then go ahead and set up a free 45-minute strategy call with me. And let's see if I can help you, because you're going to walk away with several action steps that you can take immediately to try to change that in your business. And I'm also available, of course, if you are struggling to put, maybe a tracking system in place. But really what I love these calls to be for is to make sure that your project plans, your growth strategies, your profit margins, get results for you and your goals, because now we're putting our goals out in front first. And here are some action items. So talked briefly about CEO space, but I want you to think about putting CEO space out. I say each month. I actually love doing some CEO space every month or every week. either a Friday, a Saturday, or Sunday. I'll just sit down for a little bit, put some music on. Maybe I'll read through my notes that I took throughout the week. I'll drink a cup of coffee or have a glass of wine. And I will go back and answer these questions, ADFP, or who do I need to talk to this coming week? What do I need to do this week? I continually use this, and it's turned out to be wonderful because I have several lines of business and things do come up for me, and I'm able to look at them and go, wow, I see there's an opportunity I need to explore. Maybe I need to do a little market research. That would be so smart. Sometimes I get something that strikes me because I read a book, right? So make sure that you're setting aside a little bit time for this type of work as a CEO. Be that visionary. Find those opportunities. I always want you to have a roadmap and a plan before you make a move, especially a money move. All right. I want you to make sure that you have your action steps in place and everything is ready to go before you invest your money. For example, I'm going to have somebody helping me with some marketing things. I made sure that I had everything ready to go behind those marketing moves before I put $1 into marketing, because otherwise I might be paying someone at the wrong time. Timing is very important, that you're putting money out at the right time to get a return on your investment. I want you to be open-minded and flexible. Look for those opportunities. Again, keep your eyes out throughout the week. Answer your questions whenever you feel stuck. Answer those questions and find your low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit, is a term, I guess, that I learned in the military about, this is your next opportunity. This is the next thing we need to do. And so you can pick that low-hanging fruit and make sales from it. That's all. And examine your business again for your pivots. All right. Any potential. I would say at least quarterly that you really sit down and do maybe a little market research, take a hard look at your industry. But I try to answer those questions, at least once a month, just to make sure I'm not missing some opportunity. Or if somebody says something to me, hey, do you do XYZ? I can go, I don't, but let me see if that's something I should be offering. All right. And then go ahead and schedule your 45-minute call with me so that you get your next action steps and you know exactly what to do next. And we can take a look at your money. We can look at everything and make sure that you're not stuck, that you really know where you're going, and that the goals that you've put down on paper in this course have a roadmap to get to them. So thank you so much for being part of Get Your Financial Shit Together for Entrepreneurs. I love feedback, good, bad, and ugly. I would love it if you would, please just hit me up with an email, assist@entremoneycoach.com. And please, go ahead and tell me what you think. Is this really helpful? Is there something you want to see in here that I didn't cover? Is there something that I covered that made you maybe a little confused and I need to clarify that a little bit? I am always open for feedback because I love to hear from people. And I want to know that what I'm doing is an absolute value to you, and you're getting so much out of this course that it is changing your business and changing your life. So thank you again for joining me on the 6-module journey, and take care.